Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back into my kitchen, Cooking with Carol Diane. This is the side I've set aside for my video of tea time talk, conversation, chit-chats, whatever you want to call them. I have been a little under the weather, folks, for the last couple of weeks. I really have, but I'm trying to spring back just like spring this week. We are into the first week of spring. Can you believe it? Yeah. This is no April Fool's video in any way, shape, or form. This video that I've titled Stop the Clocks, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to turn my hourglass over and I want to, if I could stop the hourglass of time just for a brief moment today, that's what I'd like to do. I'm going to have a cup of tea, of course, because it is tea time. I brought out my Earl Grey that I'm going to have this morning, because I think I need a cup of tea. I really do. To have this conversation that I hope I get through. I really do. It's not a bad conversation at all. It's just one that has a lot of meaning, for one, very sentimental, kind of going down memory lane. So, my second son, his name is Trevor, is getting married next Saturday. Woohoo! Yes and no. You know that saying that goes, a son is a son until he takes a wife? A daughter is a daughter all of her life? Yeah, I think that applies for me. A son is a son until he takes a wife. So I'd like to say a couple of things about my little boy, who's now all grown up to a man and has been for quite a little while. I'm so very proud of him and all that he has achieved. He started out with a wonderful job and he's continued, and all that's great. But if I was to stop my little hourglass for a moment to tell you about a wonderful little boy that was born that was so sweet, so quiet and loving as a baby. All four of my boys had what's called toe head. They were all very, very much white, blonde hair when they were born, and Trevor was one of them. His hair was so soft and fine, it felt like rabbit fur. It really did. It cracked me up. When my babies were little, and yes, I nursed all of them, when they were little, I sang a song to them. Yeah, to quiet them down, kind of like a little lullaby. I don't know if you remember this song. It's called You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine. Remember that song? And I don't do it justice at all, and I can't really breathe this morning, but I'll try. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Remember that song? It's got a second verse and all that, but you know, I never sang the second verse to my kids. It was always that one kind of over and over again, and oh, they'd go right to sleep. They really would. I remember so many things about being a mother to my children, and especially to my second, who's getting married. Because my other children just went down to the justice of the peace. This is going to be a regular wedding. Not a traditional one in the sense that I know, but it will be a wedding. It will. Okay, so the last video I left off with you that I was doing a tea time tea luncheon for my lady friends, and I invited them over to my house, and after the tea luncheon I had what I call a fashion show. I fashioned what I was going to wear for my son's wedding. Okay, we picked out the dress, all that's fine. I hope I still can fit into it. I really do. I'm sweating it. I really am. All right, so in remembering Trevor, again, as a mother, you remember just the littlest things that are so important to you, to me at the time. If it wasn't a skin knee from falling on his bike, learning how to ride a little bicycle with training wheels. I remember him playing with his metal Tonka toys in the backyard. I remember that very well. Oh gosh, there were school days of everything from Christmas programs, Halloween parties, the mother's parties that you had to go to school and bring cupcakes or cookies. I was all there. I was right in there plugging away. I really was. School sports. He was into football. Trevor was into football. And if memory serves me correct on that, which I'm pretty sure it did, he played a linebacker. And the first game that I went to of his football game, and he's all decked out in those great big huge pads that they have to wear under their jersey and everything. I thought, oh geez, you look big out there. And he was a big boy. They slammed into him, you know, and he got right back up. Then he got into wrestling. He was very good at that, went to state. Yeah, went to state on that. In the winter months, he liked to go snowboarding, and he always went dirt bike riding. He always had some kind of a little mini bike, dirt bike, whatever. Well, this brings me to my next part that I remember so well when he was 16 years old. Now, having other brothers, there was always something growing up. There really was. But because he was the second child, not third or last, I think he did pretty well, all things considered. I really do. So I'm going to show you a picture, and then I'd like to read you a poem that I wrote for my son, clear back when he was 16 years old. I painted the picture up here, and I wrote the poem. And a couple of you have always asked, Diane, read some more of your poems. Okay, today I will. So I hope you can see this. I hope it doesn't come out backwards. I tried to kind of blow it up. It got a little blurry on his body area, but I think you get the gist that this is his motorcycle right here. And I don't even know what kind it was. I wasn't into knowing the brand name or anything else of a motorcycle, but this is Trevor on his motorcycle at 16. He wore a bandana on his head. He wore those baggy pants all the time. You know, the ones that kind of come all the way down and you're thinking, oh, please just pull it up. It was the thing back then. It had just come out to wear pants like that. And of course, one of mine had to do it. All right. Then he got a tattoo on his arm, which was what he called a tribal band. And I talk about that in my poem. So when I'm reading that, keep this picture in mind. And I don't know if I can put it where you can kind of still see it. Should have put it in a frame, I guess. Maybe I'll put it on the back of this poem. See if you can see it that way. Okay. So the poem I titled A Special Bond, Harley in Flight. Turquoise and new. Oh, I have to back up. Sorry. So sorry. I have to back up. Because this was my son's first motorcycle, and he was so excited, and it was turquoise, the tank part of the gas tank of the motorcycle was turquoise, and all this chrome all over it. And he actually came in and got me and says, Mom, you want to go for a ride around the block? I was honored. I was so excited that out of all of his friends, everybody, girlfriends, everything, he asked his mother to go for a ride on the motorcycle before anybody. I was thrilled, and I've never forgotten it. Okay, Harley in Flight. Turquoise and new, sky above, sapphire blue. Polished chrome and licensed to ride. Inside, filled with pride. Gentle yet firm, the lessons were quick. It's nothing like driving a stick. Bandana on head, tribal symbol across the arm. Silver ring to the ear. This isn't cool there, sweetheart, is all I could hear. Around and around the block we did go, constantly shifting from third to real low. Try as we might, we imagined we were on a Harley in flight. Yeah, that's the poem that I wrote and did the picture on for my little boy. Now these poems, and I've talked about this before, these poems, each one that I wrote especially for one of my kids, is going in that second cookbook. It really is. Okay, so from his first little motorcycle to his first truck. Pretty sure that was a light blue color. He bought all by himself. He worked and made the money and bought his truck for $750 all by himself. Yeah, he did. To his first prom. Oh my gosh, this was an exciting day. Here's the picture of the prom. He's all in a white tux with his pretty little girlfriend. Yeah. Oh, I was so proud of my boy. I really was. He just looked so sharp and handsome and growing up. Yeah. There was another memory. So dear to my heart, really. So many. Between junior high and high school, I mean, there's the first girlfriend, the first broken heart. But in that time of high school, and truly I don't remember exactly the year or when he did this, but in school, instead of wood shop, like some of the other boys took, there was a pottery class going on that Trevor took. Well, what did he make his mother? Keeping in with tea time, Trevor made me this cute little teapot. Yeah, look at this. And he comes bringing it home. Heavy. Heavy. And he says, Mom, there's something special on there. Okay, well, I'm looking at the teapot and I'm just thrilled. And finally, I notice it. What is it? Right here is a little heart. Don't know if you can see that, but it's there. This is another. It never goes in a box out in the shed. It never goes in a box, period. It's usually right here in my cabinet. That this is such a special little treasure to me of something that my son made. Each one of the boys made something. Most of it, like I said, wood shop. They got into different things from candle holders to a great big huge table. One made all different things, but this one went into the pottery. Someday I would like to do that. Sit down on a pottery wheel and make something wonderful like this. He made vases. He has one. I have the other ones that I keep my art brushes in my art room. Yeah, because they're special to me. They really are. But this was a little gem. And I said, I don't know if it was when he first started seeing a girl, which I think was in his freshman year. I think so. He had a little girlfriend. Her name was Christine. Yeah, go figure. And his soon-to-be wife, her name is Christina. Who knew? Who knew? But I remember Christine very well. A very pretty girl. And she was a cheerleader. And he liked her. And he took her to prom. Yeah, he did. First prom. Then he moves on to, like I said, working at a good job, graduating from high school, working at a good job, meeting the girl that he would marry, telling me that he was going to get married, me watching from a distance their life unfolding together, and me trying to find the happy medium between letting go and still holding on a piece of my boy. It's been hard. It really has. So, second poem I'd like to read you out of my book of poetry, Seasons of the Heart, is one I hope that mothers can relate to. I really do. I wanted to go down memory lane today of, if you have a son, not a daughter that's going to be a daughter all of her life, but a son until he takes a wife, you will know exactly what I've been going through. And it's hard. It's tough. It really is. And no matter whether you like the girlfriend, you know, and soon-to-be daughter-in-law or not, you know, maybe you're very close with her, maybe you're trying or whatever, it's still a piece of your little boy that's flying away and has been flying away. Okay, so the other night I was thinking about this and I thought, what's the poem that I like to be a mother that I think other people can relate to too? Well, here it is. It's called In a Mother's Heart. She feels when you are troubled, yet you've not said a word. Waits and hears your inner thoughts like the song from a tiny bird. She grows by all the giving, endures the highs and lows. Mistakes you've made along the way, even those she knows. She watches as the years do part, and when she's all alone, reflects on all the memories, then waits to hear the phone. She prays for health and happiness, even thanks the stars above, wishes for more hours in a day, but most of all, for love. Yeah. I've been watching some things on TV and YouTube and different things of people that are my age and older. Empty nesters. Kids are all gone from home, all that, they're all grown up. And how you feel the void in your life once your kids are grown and gone. For me, it hasn't been too bad yet. My golden years hasn't been too bad yet. When I reach the big 7-0 and over, I know I'm going to notice it even more. I really will. But when you still have a husband that's working at a job, you don't notice it that bad. When you're still doing things like what I'm doing, I still teach at the college, I do all these videos, I write my novels, I have a full yard I have to take care of. In fact, I've got 6 things on a list on my refrigerator, starting the 1st of May, that I need to get going on and doing in my yard, and that really does fill my time. In between all that, what do I do? Yes, I think about my kids. Yes, I love it when they call me. But I like the good phone calls. I like the ones that call and say, "What are you doing today, Mom? How are you feeling today, Mom?" Those are the phone calls that I like. Interested in my day. Not watching me on Facebook or YouTube of what I posted or what I'm doing. Actually call and say, "Hi, Mom, how are you today?" Or can you talk a minute? You know, they've got something on their mind that they want to talk about, okay? And I listen, and I try to listen with an open mind and heart. I really do. This last couple of weeks, like I said, it's been extremely hard for me. I'm going to get into a video about health issues at between 60, 65 and over, of what goes on in your body and how you deal with it. Maybe you deal with it different than I deal with it. Maybe your body's exactly like mine and you're thinking, yeah, I could relate to that because my body's doing the very same thing. And we'll talk about that, and I hope to get your comments. I want to thank that dear lady, Sharon, in Texas again, for a wonderful email that she sent me that just, it's another, like when I go out to lunch with my ladies that I talk about, that it kickstarts me. Well, that's what you did, Sharon. You kickstarted me again, giving me encouragement and hope, and, you know, things are going to be okay. Even though I kind of pass out a little, you know, hopefully wisdom or advice to other people, well, every now and then I kind of need it myself. And you did that for me, so thank you very much. Other videos and things that I watch, I try to watch things that take me clear far away from my little everyday life too. There's a couple of them I don't mind to watch going on some trip, a road trip, on this YouTube thing, because It is like getting in the car and sitting in the passenger seat and going somewhere, okay? I like to do that. I have watched going up into Montana, which I've been to Montana, yes, but, you know, I like to watch other places that maybe I haven't been. Yellowstone, I've been to Yellowstone. Utah, I've been to all 3 canyons. You know, I've watched that video again. Colorado, where I live, there are still some places that I haven't been in my own state. Can you believe it? Yeah. And I need to get on that. I need to say, okay, I'm going to take a road trip now and go this particular place and check it out. I think everybody should do that. I think wherever you live, your own state has so much to offer. You don't have to go to Bahamas. You don't have to go to Europe. Go right in your own state and visit a few things. I think you'll be glad that you are doing that. So this next week coming up is going to be busy. I get my hair done. Like I said, I hope that dress fits me okay. I'm going to go out to lunch again next week, and then the big day will come. It comes and goes. It'll go just like that. They'll be married. They'll be a couple. They'll be Mr. and Mrs. Yeah. Then after that, I hope to knuckle down and get busy on what I need to around my home, inside and out, really inside and out. I want to declutter again in the inside of my house for spring. I always think that's a good idea. And then I want to get busy out in my yard. There's so many things. We've had a couple of days of not so good weather, and we always have to kind of hold our breath on those days, because with our fruit trees, our peach, our apricot, our plum trees, everything that we've planted, even in our own yard, we have to watch, oh my gosh, did that temperature that went down to 23, you know, did it kill the blossoms and we're not going to have fruit this year? I don't know. We'll just have to see. Right now, and when I looked out even this morning at my peach trees, they're looking good, but I have no idea whether they'll produce or not. So we'll see. Other than that, I just kind of wanted to pop on today and say happy spring to everybody. I'm still here. I kind of go up and down, but I wanted to talk about my little boy who's getting married. And it's a special day, and it's going to turn out okay, and I'll get through it. But it's just something that those memories are never going to go away with me. They're never going to go away. Him looking like this in a white tuxedo, which he'll be in a gray tuxedo on his wedding. Yeah, that's never going to go away in my mind. And I cherish those memories. Clear back to when he was 16, riding the motorcycle and allowing me to be the first one to ride with him. I'm never going to forget that. I hope I'm never going to forget it anyway in my brain. You know, I pray I don't get dementia or Alzheimer's or something, that my brain goes. Certain things still do. Even in your 60s, you know, you just can't remember certain things. And I like to say that saying, I don't know, I've slept between now and then, because it's so true. I have. But I'm going to still remember a lot of things with my son, Trevor, who, like I said, I'm very proud of. He's into the heating and air conditioning business, of which he's a project manager. Yeah. And I never thought he'd get into any of that, but I'll tell you what, it came from my grandpa. My mother's dad, the one I showed you in one video, Basil, that's what he did for a living too. And I never thought one of my kids would do that, but he did. It's great. Last week, they decided to turn on my air conditioner, and it's a process. So he sends over one of his technicians to come to the house. It always cracks me up, because he doesn't tell his technicians who I am, that I'm mom. He just sends them out on a call. Okay. So this young boy comes, and I have to say boy, because anybody that's even 30 years old, they're still a kid to me. They really are. He's very polite. He's very nice. But Trevor with me, he waits a little while and then he'll text me, well, Mom, did they pass or fail the inspection? Because I know all about maintenance men and all of that. Okay. And I said, I don't know, he's still up on the roof. An hour later. Okay, so there was a couple little problems that Trevor had to walk him through. So when he gets down off the roof, I say to him, very nice, is everything going all right? Yeah, but it was something about some cord. Cord that looks like a telephone cord. Okay, and it was bad. It was kind of shot. He had to go all the way back to the shop to get it. He says, well, I've been on the phone with my project manager. I couldn't resist. I said, and who might that be? Oh, well, I don't know if you'll know him, but his name is Trevor. I looked at my husband. He looks at me. I just get a little grin on my face, and I said, yeah, I know him quite well. But I don't live on who I am. Way later on, when my son does stop by, and I tell him the little story, and of course he's just laughing. And I said, project manager, okay. I'd kind of forgotten that that was his title. To me, he should be vice president of the company. I'm telling you, really. He's a smart young man, and he could run that company with ease. Project manager, okay. So he has been that for 12 years now. And I spoke with the boss's wife at the bridal shower. She's such a nice lady. And she reminded me it's been 12 years. And then I had to go down memory lane of that and tell her he started that. He got into that when he was a junior a freshman in high school. He really did. He went into a huge, they were condos up in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and he was an apprentice journeyman under this one plumbing company of some kind. He knew the guy, and he learned all of that. And one day when I was over there, I worked up there, and he says, Mom, on your lunch break, why don't you swing by and see what I've been doing all week? Okay. Another, well, I'm thrilled. Son wants me to come see what he's been doing. Okay. So I go, and he had to show me what's called boilers, which are the furnaces. Okay. And every single one of them on this huge wall, and all the copper pipes and all the soldering and everything. It looked like a maze. And he did all that all by himself. I was shocked. I thought, when did you learn how to do all this and how impressive this is? Wow. I was really proud of him way, way back. I really was, and told him so. Can't believe you've learned all of this in such a short time, and he's carried on with different things. Now, he doesn't like to be called a plumber, and he does not like to come to a house or anybody's house, and fix a toilet or a sink or whatever. That's not what he specializes and does. Heating and air conditioning HVAC is kind of different than that. It gets a little bit more involved than that. And like I said, he's done very well. So whether he is still, and he's still out riding his dirt bike, they're big bikes now. He likes to ride his side-by-side. It's called a Razor, and he goes very fast on it. Worries mother to death, but he does. They like to go camping. He shoots pool, like his dad used to do. Very good at it. What else does Trevor know how to do? On fishing, he didn't get into it like my other two kids, my oldest and my youngest, as far as really mastering it, but he does very well at it. He likes to lake fish, and he'll bring in a great big huge brown. He really will, or a trout, whatever. And but he likes the more quiet life. He really does like a quiet life, period. He doesn't like drama. He doesn't like stress. That's my Trevor Don. That's him. And I call him that, Trevor Don. That's his middle name. And it's not when I'm mad at him like I used to do. I'd rattle off their names and call them by both their names, their first name and middle name. How many mothers have done that or are still doing that? I'll do that till the day I die. I'm sure I will, because those are my little boys. Yeah, they're grown men now. They're still always going to be my little boys. They really will. Even though he towers me in height, he's big. Not heavy set big. This is muscle big. He's thick. Much more so than the other boys. He really is. But I wish them all the best. I hope the wedding goes off without a hitch. And I intend to go and have some fun and dance and enjoy the memories of all of that now. That will be special to me. So if you have a son out there that has gotten married, is getting married, you're in the same boat that I'm in right now. And it is a special time for moms. It really is. So I'm going to sign off now, my hourglass here, which is not quite an hour. It isn't. It's more like 30 minutes, I think. But I wanted to bring it out to stop time just for a little bit and let me enjoy a memory or two about my son who's getting married. Stop the clock for just a moment in this week and let me enjoy spring. You know, let me enjoy the nice temperature. Today it's supposed to be 55 degrees where I live. That'll be nice. And I still am feeding my birds out there. I have doves that fly down into the driveway, into the gravel. And I've just been sprinkling the bird seed out there because a dove won't go to a little bird house or a bird feeder. They're too big of a bird. So I've been putting it down there and they watch from a tree up there. They've got it down now what I'm doing. Ooh, owner of that house is giving us some more food. They wait till I'm done putting it out there in the driveway. They look around, I'm sure, for any cat or anybody that's going to bug them. And then they come down and they get their food for the day. So I've been enjoying that. I also hung my hummingbird feeder out this week. I bought a new one. The other one cracked and broke. Why? Because I forgot to bring it in for the winter. So I bought a new one. I filled that up, and I don't know when I'll see the first hummingbird, maybe in another week or two. But they'll be there. They really will. So I want to wish everyone a happy Easter coming up. I will be doing another video, I'm sure. I would like to go right in, maybe this weekend. If I have the strength and feeling good, I want to start making a new batch of, yes, my Easter sugar eggs. These are the ones that I make. The little peekaboo windows, panoramic Easter eggs. And I want to make some new ones this year, and I think I'm going to sell them. I really do. If I can get them exactly the way I want and have them come out, you know, pretty like this, then I'll put them on Facebook Marketplace and maybe I'll sell a couple of them, and that'll kind of perk me up too. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days. And I hope you find some spring flower to plant or just enjoy your yard this week. Wish me well on the wedding coming up, and I'll catch you next time. This is From My Kitchen to Yours. I'll catch you next time on Cooking with Carol Diane or this area of tea time conversation. Bye-bye.